In Dubai, they're building the deepest diving pool in the entire world. But there's a massive problem. They thought they were going to be no one, but turns out another pool in Poland is just as deep. So now they got to dig deeper or not be no one. But then the experts said, yeah, you probably don't want to do that. So why are they doing it? Well, let me tell you. This is the story of the world's deepest diving pool. Now, here's what we know about this crazy pool. First, it's going to be located at the Deep Dive Dubai, which is going to be like a massive water park and entertainment complex. And second, the pool itself is being built in the shape of an open seashell. This is obviously a nod to Dubai's history of pearl diving. In fact, the entire city of Dubai was built on the backs of divers who would dive up to 60 meters deep to retrieve pearls from the ocean floor. Without these divers, Dubai wouldn't have a lot of money, meaning there wouldn't be any flashy buildings or insane roller coasters. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool they're re-honoring the divers by making the pool into a giant pearl. But the main attraction of the pool isn't really its shape, or its color, or even its location. You see, the developers of the pool aren't just trying to make your average Renova-Mill swimming hole. No, they're going for the absolute deepest pool in the world. And I mean, if you're going to go for it, you might as well go for it. They're aiming for a depth of 60 meters, which is 20 meters deeper than the current record holder, which is also in Dubai. That pool is currently 45 meters deep and was made in 2021. Now, before we get into some of the issues with building such a deep pool, let's talk about who's behind all this. See, the pool is being built by a company called Davy. They've been around since 2019, and so far have done a decent job keeping things on track. The general contractor for the project is a company called Arabtech Construction. They rebased in Dubai and are currently working on tons of other projects like a bunch of hotels and residential buildings. So yeah, Arabtech has a lot on their plate. But building the world's deepest diving pool is definitely the most exciting one. After all, pools aren't exactly their specialty. And to help them out, they brought in a bunch of experts from around the world to help them figure out how to build this thing. One of the companies they brought in was B&M, a pool construction firm based out of California. B&M has built some really impressive pools in their day, but nothing nearly as challenging as the Deep Dive Dubai. To give you an idea of how challenging this pool is to build, consider this. The typical pool only holds water, whereas this pool is actually pushing the boundaries of physics. I'm not kidding. Here's one of the big problems they ran into. At a certain point, the pressure from the water is going to become so great that it starts pushing the pool upwards. Kind of like when you put a water bottle on the bottom of a bathtub, fill up the tub and then watch the bottle shoot to the top. Same concept here, except instead of a tiny bottle, we're talking about a gigantic pool full of water. At first, the engineers thought they could solve this issue by using concrete that was extra thick. However, that's not really a long-term solution, because eventually the weight of the water is just going to be too much for the pool walls and they start to bend. The engineers came up with a better solution though. They decided to install a bunch of steel supports inside the pool walls to help keep everything in check. The steel supports will basically work like the ribs of a human body, providing structure and support to the overall pool. But wait, there's another problem. Steel expands when it comes into contact with water. That's a big problem because if the steel starts expanding, the pool walls could start leaking. So to prevent that, the engineers are going to install a special type of rubber around the steel that will expand along with it, basically locking everything together. Another problem they ran into was how to deal with groundwater. The site where they're building the pool is pretty close to the ocean, so there's a lot of groundwater in the area. If they can't get rid of the groundwater, it's going to make it really hard to dig down that far. So what they did was install a bunch of pumps that will suck the water out of the hole as they dig deeper. Once the pool is finished, they'll turn the pumps off and fill it up with seawater. All of these problems seem pretty manageable, right? Almost. Turns out there's one more problem that could derail the whole project, and that's the water itself. Here's the issue. When the pool gets filled with water, the pressure from the water will start pushing against the sides of the pool. If the pressure is too great, it could cause the pool to collapse. The engineers have to make sure that the pool is strong enough to withstand the pressure of 60 meters of water. To make matters worse, the pool is being built in an area that's prone to earthquakes. An earthquake could cause the pool to collapse, releasing a huge amount of water all at once. It's not good to prevent that. The engineers have to design the pool to withstand earthquakes that are twice as powerful as anything the area has ever experienced. Despite all these challenges, The engineers are confident that they can build a pool that's both earthquake and water pressure proof. They were using a technique called finite element analysis to test the strength of the pool under different conditions. They can then use this data to make adjustments to the pool's design and construction. So far, things are looking good. The pool is on schedule and within budget. And if all goes according to plan, it should be finished by early 2023. It'll be interesting to see if they actually finish it, and hopefully they do, because it's gonna be awesome. Imagine being able to dive 60 meters deep and experience the weightlessness of space. Or maybe you're more of the type to hang out in the shallower parts of the pool watching others dive below. Either way, it's going to be cool. Now here's the thing. While the pool is being built, it's going to look like a total disaster. There's gonna be tons of noise and dust, and the surrounding area is gonna be a total mess. But the good news is that none of that matters because the pool is being built on a man-made island. So yeah, it's going to be ugly, but no one's really going to care. I know I've spent a lot of time talking about the engineering challenges of building this pool, but trust me, there's a reason for that. Building a 60-meter deep pool is seriously impressive. I mean, humans have been swimming in pools for thousands of years, and only now are we finally getting to this level. Anyway, that's all I got. See you guys next time.